Welcome to SmartFox TV. This is Sally Fang, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hi, this is Sally Fang, and today I'll be talking about COVID-19 and 9/11. 2 Fridays ago marked the 19th anniversary of September 11, a day that many Americans will remember as the day that countless lives were lost due to terrorist attacks in 2001. Before the days of YouTube and live streaming, people watched helplessly as first responders were battling smoke, flames, and chaos on their television screen. That day, hijackers took over planes and crashed them into the Pentagon and World Trade Center, killing 2,996 people, including first responders. This year, people are comparing COVID-19 to 9/11 because of the way that it has changed Americans' perception of security, as well as it has impacted their daily lives. After 9/11, airplane security was forever changed to what we know today, which includes limitations on liquids, blocking guests at the gate, and of course those long lines. Since the pandemic, everything has changed, including the way that we shop at the groceries, the way that we bank, the way that we eat, and even how things are done at school. Social distancing protocols have caused changes in the way that people go into buildings and has created a lot of long lines at different places, as well as temperature checks that may be required. However, just like 9/11, COVID-19 has created a greater appreciation for first responders and essential workers.
Checkers were invented in what country? A. United States of America, B. Italy, C. France, or D. Egypt?
The relationship between China and the United States has been a complex relationship. The United States is the largest economy, while China the second. Yet they have issues on economic cooperation, rivalry in the Pacific, suspicion of each other's intentions, guilt blaming on the COVID-19 pandemic, and yet, like high school girls, fighting over the ban of TikTok. The feud has fueled on into the New York City Police Department, where an officer was arrested on federal charges of acting as an illegal agent for the Chinese government. Authorities said, in other words, he received tasks from and reported back to the People's Republic of China officials. The man gained asylum in the United States and is accused of providing non-public information access to senior NYPD officials through invitations to official events, and according to federal prosecutors, the accused was a member of the NYPD's Community Affairs Unit, the U.S. Army Reservists, and held secret-level security clearance, and called or texted officials on at least 55 occasions between 2018 and 2020. The Chinese government recruited and directed a U.S. citizen, while the Chinese military has developed a propaganda video simulating a bombing raid using clips from Hollywood blockbusters, including Transformers, The Rock, and The Hurt Locker, all while set with dramatic music. Reports have said that they're stealing from American films. The video was viewed nearly 5 million times. Fortunate, China has no issues with copyright laws. The Chinese military has not publicly commented on these claims. A source close to the military told the South China Morning Post, though, that it was common practice for the Army's publicity department to borrow from Hollywood films. Almost all the officers in the department grew up watching Hollywood movies, so in their minds, American war films have the coolest images. I just hope they don't get a hold of our burn book.
Today in history, September 22nd. September 22nd marks the day that President Abraham Lincoln first issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, although it was not passed until January 1st, 1863. Words breakdown. Emancipation means to set free. Proclamation is a public or official announcement. The Emancipation Proclamation deals with the freedom of more than 3 million slaves and the Civil War. Lincoln was urged by his cabinet to wait until after Union victory, as the Civil War was going on at this time. It was after they won the Battle of Antietam, also known as the Battle of Sharpsburg, which is one of the deadliest one-day battles in all of American military history. But the Battle of Antietam is a story for another time. In September of 1862, he made the announcement of the Emancipation Proclamation on the 22nd, that people who were enslaved in certain areas that were in rebellion would be set free in 100 days. And this was Today in History.
It's really easy to get lost in the negative, especially in today's world the way it is, but not this time. In this segment, we're going to talk about the positive. This is good news. First bit of good news is Dave Grohl. Always good news, Dave Grohl. Drummer of Nirvana, frontman of the Foo Fighters. He's been in an ongoing drum battle with a 10-year-old girl, and they've been going back and forth, picking songs, and she's been keeping up, which is pretty spectacular. But he's really sort of changed the game, and he wrote a song specifically for her, played it for her and everything. I'm a musician. I've always wanted to play in a band with my idols, so to get that feeling must be astounding for her. First bit of good news, good guy Dave Grohl. So in our next bit of good news, in a rare, very rare case of bipartisan agreement, the Senate came together and forged out a deal to basically start the phase out of hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs. And it's a chemical refrigerant that's really bad for the environment. It's just a really, really bad greenhouse gas. And this was already part of the plan, but they've accelerated it. And it was done bipartisan. Again, this is a rare occasion that we get sort of agreement in the government at the highest level. So this is definitely good news, especially if you're a science buff like me. Anything to help our chances with the environment, we need it. But yes, great news number 2. In other good news, in Branson, Missouri, there's an old Days Inn that's actually being used for something better than an old beat-up motel. Nothing against Days Inn. A company, a Los Angeles-based company, is taking that space and turning it into very affordable housing. And it makes sense because a hotel's got everything you need. It's got a kitchen, it's got a bathroom, and, well, not all of them have kitchens, but you get the idea. And it seems like it's just should have been done to begin with, but this is also good news because we have a serious housing problem, especially in California, and why not? Why not take these older hotels that are maybe not doing so well in business and turn them into something like affordable housing for people to get their start? So also good news in a more practical means. Great news. Well, that's all the time I have for this segment, but I'm Chris Yates, and this has been Good News.
Hi, this is Sally Fang, and today I'll be talking about COVID-19 with children and pets. So first of all, if you're a student, you're probably wondering, well, what are the chances that I would get COVID-19, or how would it affect me? According to the Mayo Clinic, children of all ages can be affected by COVID-19. However, if you do get it, the symptoms will be mild, or you might not have any symptoms at all. Some people believe that's because children's immune systems may not overreact in the same way that it may for adults. So, who is more at risk? Children who are a little overweight or who have genetic conditions affecting their metabolism, nervous system, or their heart are more at risk for complications that come with COVID-19. So, what about your pets? If you're a pet owner, you might want to listen to this next part more closely. Cats and dogs have been found to have contracted COVID-19 all around the world. However, they got it because they were in close contact with people who had it. The risk is considered low overall, and in the US, animals are not suspected to be a major factor in spreading COVID-19. If an animal is infected, the symptoms are mild or they might not have any symptoms at all. So what can you do as an owner to protect your pet? You will want to avoid bringing them in close contact with anyone who's outside of your household. You also want to keep them 6 feet away from others, but you don't want to put a mask on them like you would for yourself. Lastly, you want to just practice good pet hygiene overall, and if you do suspect that your pet has any issues or that they may be sick, you do want to bring them to a veterinarian.
Checkers were invented in what country? A. United States of America, B. Italy, C. France, or D. Egypt? If you chose Egypt, you are correct. It was then called alquerque, and it was dated to have existed in ancient Egypt around 1400 BC.
Thanks for watching SmartFox TV. As this is our opening week, we want to thank you for watching. I'm Chris Yates.
I'm Kim. I'm Sally.
I'm Tracy.
Until next time, stay
Stay foxy.